Good afternoon, everybody. I have the immense pleasure of introducing Shri Tarun Shridhar, former Secretary DADH&F, with whom we are having a discussion today. Today's discussion panel includes Dr. V. Sugunan, Chief Editor, Fishing Times, Dr. C. Vasudevappa, Vice Chancellor, National Institute of Food Technology, Entrepreneurship and Management, and Dr. C.K. Murthy, Associate Editor of Fishing Times.
Vannamei is an exotic species. We want to know how did you manage to achieve this synergy and trade-off between this one side scientific concerns and the other side need of the industry and our country to effective growth of the sector.
Synergy, as I said, was obtained because everybody at the end of the day got the feeling that it is his project. It is his project. So today when you say I introduced vannamei, I feel a bit discomfort. Dr. Vasudevappa, Dr. Murthy, you, Dr. Ponia, Leena Nair, even Mohan Kumar, everyone was at the end of the day involved. And a negative incentive was also held out. I remember to one of the very, very senior officers, etc. I then had to slightly say it very firmly. If vannamei is going to be introduced with or without you, now please you take a decision whether you and your organization would like to be a part in this historic decision making.
When did you have this first brush with fish?
That presentation was basically telling that, 90% of the farmers in Vietnam, Thailand, and all these places have shifted to this. India is suffering from this. Why? Pros and cons of why India should introduce vannamei, why India should not introduce vannamei, how people were opposing it, what was the view of the scientific community. So I, without knowing much, I started reading about it. Then the papers, I found one paper by Dr. Santhana Krishnan of SAP, Society of Aquaculture Professionals. There was a 4 or 5 page paper which wrote in detail that why vannamei was important for India. Now, it so happened that before a formal order was issued that Tarun Shridhar, Joint Secretary, will henceforth look after fisheries. On day one, I had read 3 or 4 papers about vannamei. And this was one of the first files which came on my table also. And that is where this journey about fisheries started.
Despite not having any of these species, we try to address a species diversity which was not accepted for Indian market. So what was going on in your minds at that time? So that was something really very tricky for me also.
In terms of markets, you see, I have had very, very strong views, and I'm sure I would have discussed it with you many times. While exports is very, very critical, I think we need to slightly get out of our obsession with exports.
Yeah, right.
There is no market in the world which is as big as India, except for China. But China is not so much dependent on exports because they themselves have their huge this thing. But somehow because of traditionally some kind of a fixation with exports, we created Agriculture Products Export Development Authority, Marine Products Export Development Authority. Maybe during the good old times, there was this issue of earning foreign exchange and other things. You see, once or twice, in fact, even I do it. That time I did a Google search to compare the prices of shrimp in New Delhi with the prices of shrimp in New York. And what did I discover? The price of shrimp in New Delhi was marginally higher than what it was.
Now, regularly we are seeing the increase in the fish and shrimp feed cost over the years, which results in the farmers are getting the pinch and their profit margin is getting reduced, or in some cases it is getting completely eroded. Wishful thinking is that is there any possibility of some sort of synergy in planning and cultivation of agriculture crop to meet the demand for fish or animal husbandry or even poultry? Is it possible?
See, interestingly, the whole purpose of creating a separate Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairy, and within that separate the Department of Fisheries was so that there can be a concentrated, focused attention to these sectors which have their unique cases. But it has created a problem. Why it has created a problem was when it was part of the Agriculture Ministry, there was this energy. Because the Agriculture Minister, while being concerned about soya production, other production, was also concerned about soya prices as it would impact his animal husbandry domain. poultry domain, fish domain, and how the prices there are going to affect the prices here, how the production patterns there are going to, that synergy has actually now gone.